Analysis buzzing away in trade, but let's focus in on the Voyage 2018 event and cut right across.
Do we see those yellow weeds springing up, or are we still sailing in the deep sea?
Well, I'll have to draw perspective here.
Sure.
So there are, in essence, what we see on the ground is there are two parts of real estate. We've touched upon, I think the previous speaker has touched upon the consolidation that's happening in the industry, how regulation is changing the industry for the better. We've also seen, to some extent, the taint in the industry is because of what's happened between, say, 2012 and 2017, where the supply that came in 2012-13 catered to a certain segment of the economy. At that time, investors were a big part of the real estate market, particularly in the north. A lot of the supply actually catered to that type of demand. So if you go to Lower Parel, there's a large amount of luxury supply, which to some extent...
Ultra luxury.
Well, ultra luxury. It's the same in many parts of Gurgaon where the average unit size is very, very large. Potentially, that there is a problem there. That's one part of the market. There's another part of the market, which is the upcoming supply or the upcoming launches. We haven't seen much of it in 2017, but what is being launched is a smaller ticket, more affordable, targeting somebody who actually wants to live there. So we've seen this market, somewhat be recalibrated by developers. We've also seen that, to some extent, the ones that are left to create this new supply have pristine balance sheets. They're large institutional players, and to some extent, they've had both a commercial as well as a residential side to their development business. The commercial side has helped out the residential business. So pretty much any balance sheet you look, a listed balance sheet of a developer today is in very good condition. So when we think of real estate, we're looking at what has happened over the past and the thousands of developers that we've talked about earlier. What is remaining now is maybe 200 of them, which are actually coming up with more relevant type of supply. So that's the type of difference there is in the past and the future. We're actually betting on the future, and that this upcoming supply will get absorbed. It's a cyclical industry. We are at a low ebb. We expect things to get much, much better from here.
But will it take time?
So there's a demand-supply mismatch where demand is actually higher than supply today. It's been there for 18 months, so we've been waiting. What we've seen, or we talk to developers, what we hear is that if it wasn't for RERA, if it wasn't for GST and wasn't for demonetization, they would have launched much more. So many of the top listed guys are actually sitting on, they're waiting to launch. They're just waiting for their processes to be familiarized with RERA, to see how RERA operates, and they're sitting on an unprecedented amount of supply to come up.
Chanchal, that brings me to the next question, because there has been increased regulation because of RERA. Where are things as of now? I mean, has all the adjustment because of RERA settled down? Are developers now in a much easy space as they were when the reform was put in place?
So just to start our perspective from where he has finished, real estate in the past was about hoarding real estate and selling as the price increases. Developers were more focused on value than volume. Few structural reforms which has changed, RERA and affordable housing. I'll touch upon one affordable housing space. Government has given income tax benefit to developers if they launch 60 square meter, which is 600 square foot houses in and around, apart from the 4 metros. So this gives developers an incentive to launch affordable housing. And as Jasprit was pointing out, there is a mismatch between supply and demand. Supply was at a very high end and demand was at the low end at a ticket size of 65 to 1 crore. Now developers have started to focus on that ticket size, and incrementally we have seen smart absorption happening. So with RERA, we think in the past regime, think of it, anyone with a 2-acre land would become a developer. That's the reason we had 12,000 developers in the country, right? But with RERA, entry barrier in the sector is going to increase. Today with RERA, 70% of the sales amount has to be in the escrow account. So that's the reason the developers will not be able to take out the money to buy land. Land grabbing and land hoarding, which was the past policy, will go away. If you think about the entire real estate cycle, the cycle can be divided into 3 parts.